represents the story's emotional and narrative pivot, where the protagonist encounters truths and challenges that force her to confront both external obstacles and internal conflicts. Having embarked on her journey in Part 3, she has moved beyond the safety of the familiar, gained new perspectives, and tested her own resilience. Now she faces the pivotal moment that will challenge her identity, beliefs, and sense of self. This part is crucial for deepening the character's emotional complexity and heightening the story's tension. The turning point often begins with a revelation. The protagonist uncovers information or experiences an event that shakes her understanding of her past, family, or personal identity. This could manifest as the discovery of a long-hidden secret, an unexpected betrayal, or the revelation of a truth she has subconsciously avoided. For example, she may meet someone from her past who exposes inconsistencies in her memories, or find a document that recontextualizes her life. Whatever form it takes, this revelation challenges the stability she has relied upon and forces her to reassess her assumptions. Internally, this stage is marked by emotional turbulence. The neutral composure that has characterized her in the story's earlier parts begins to falter. Her striking blue eyes, once calm and observant, now reflect a mixture of shock, confusion, fear, and curiosity. She experiences a complex emotional cocktail: grief for lost certainty, anger at perceived betrayals, anxiety about her future, and excitement about the new possibilities emerging from these revelations. The narrative focuses closely on her internal processing, allowing readers to feel her vulnerability and struggle as she navigates conflicting emotions. Part 4 also emphasizes confrontation, not just with external circumstances, but with herself. She must face long-standing fears, insecurities, or doubts that have constrained her. For example, she may question her ability to make the right choices, fear repeating past mistakes, or struggle with feelings of inadequacy. The journey that once seemed exploratory now becomes intensely personal and existential. Her growth depends not on action alone, but on her willingness to accept truths she may find uncomfortable or painful. Conflict intensifies in this part. The stakes are higher, and the consequences of decisions carry real weight. She may encounter opposition from others, forcing her to defend her choices or reevaluate her trust. Simultaneously, the internal conflict becomes sharper. Does she cling to the safety of her previous life, or embrace the uncertainty and growth the new revelations demand? This tension is central to the turning point, as it underscores the story's emotional depth and raises anticipation for the climax. Represents the story's emotional and narrative peak, where the protagonist faces a decisive moment that will define her future. After confronting revelations and personal fears in Part 4, she now stands at a crossroads where her choices carry profound consequences. This stage is both the culmination of the tension built throughout the story and the ultimate test of her growth, courage, and self-awareness. The climax begins with the convergence of internal and external pressures. Externally, circumstances demand action. Perhaps she must confront someone pivotal to her past, deliver a crucial message, or make a difficult decision that will affect not only herself, but also others around her. Internally, she grapples with the weight of her emotions and the moral and personal implications of her choice. The narrative focuses on the intensity of this moment, the rapid beating of her heart, the tension in her body, and the heightened awareness of every detail in her surroundings. Her striking blue eyes, once calm and reflective, now radiate determination, fear, and a profound intensity, reflecting the high stakes of the decision before her. The protagonist's choice in this part is not trivial. It often represents a thematic turning point that tests the lessons she has learned throughout her journey. For instance, she may have to decide between clinging to the safety of the familiar or embracing the uncertainty of a new path, between protecting herself and helping someone else, between suppressing the truth and confronting it openly. Each option carries risks and benefits, and her decision will inevitably reshape her life. The story emphasizes that growth is not merely about action, but about the courage to confront consequences and take responsibility for the outcome. Conflict in this part reaches its highest point. Externally, she may face opposition, challenges, or obstacles that amplify the difficulty of her choice. Internally, self-doubt, fear, and lingering anxiety create tension, forcing her to weigh not just practical considerations, but moral and emotional ones. The audience experiences this moment alongside her, feeling the suspense and the weight of her deliberation. Every second counts. Every small gesture or thought is magnified, emphasizing the critical nature of the climax. Crucially, Part 5 highlights the protagonist's transformation. The person who faced the unexpected message in Part 2 and cautiously stepped into the unknown in Part 3 is no longer the same individual. She has gained perspective, resilience, and self-awareness. Her choice, while challenging, demonstrates her ability to synthesize experience, courage, and intuition. Whether the outcome is joyful, bittersweet, or painful, it signifies her active engagement with life rather than passive existence. Serves as the story's emotional and narrative resolution, revealing the consequences of the protagonist's choices and highlighting her transformation. Having faced uncertainty, confronted her fears, and made a decisive choice in Part 5, she now experiences the aftermath of her journey. This part emphasizes reflection, growth, and a renewed understanding of herself and her world, offering readers both closure and emotional resonance. The resolution begins by showing the protagonist in a moment of quiet reflection. She may be sitting in a familiar space, revisiting a place from the beginning of the story, or observing the world around her after a significant event has passed. The headshot that opened the story finds its mirror here. Her striking blue eyes, once neutral and contemplative, now convey depth, wisdom, and quiet strength. The light-colored top she wears, simple yet elegant, emphasizes continuity with her earlier self, but subtle changes in expression, posture, or demeanor reveal the internal transformation she has undergone. Through this reflective lens, the audience sees how the events of the previous parts have shaped her. The unexpected message from Part 2, the first tentative steps into the unknown in Part 3, and the confronting of shadows in Part 4 all culminate in her understanding of her own resilience, courage, and capacity for growth. She recognizes that her journey was not only about external circumstances, but also about self-discovery, learning to trust her instincts, embrace uncertainty, and confront challenges without fear. Her experiences have deepened her empathy, sharpened her intuition, and fostered a stronger sense of identity. Part 6 also highlights the emotional consequences of her decisions. Whether the climax led to success, loss, or compromise, the protagonist approaches her reality with a sense of acceptance and clarity. She reflects on what she has gained and what she may have lost, understanding that growth often comes with both reward and sacrifice. This stage emphasizes the nuanced nature of life. Triumphs and setbacks are intertwined, and wisdom emerges from navigating both. Her calm demeanor now carries a sense of earned confidence rather than passive neutrality, showing that her journey has equipped her to face future challenges with poise. The narrative often includes symbolic gestures or imagery to reinforce the resolution. Perhaps she looks out a window, observing sunlight filtering through the trees, a metaphor for clarity and new beginnings. Or she engages in a quiet action, a deep breath, a smile, or a small but significant choice that signals her readiness to move forward. These details underscore the story's central theme. Transformation is both internal and visible, subtle yet profound, and marked by self-awareness and acceptance. Finally, Part 6 ties together the story's emotional arc. The protagonist's journey, once uncertain and tentative, concludes with a sense of closure and continuity. While her life will continue, the narrative assures the audience that she has emerged stronger, wiser, and more attuned to herself and the world. The resolution mirrors the initial headshot, but with one critical difference. Her eyes now reflect the depth of experience, the clarity of perspective, and the quiet empowerment that comes from having faced and navigated life. The story opens with a vivid portrayal of the protagonist, a young woman whose presence is defined by both simplicity and subtle intrigue. Her headshot immediately captures attention. Blonde, wavy hair cascading softly around her face, framing striking blue eyes that seem to hold stories she hasn't yet told. Her expression is neutral, almost contemplative, suggesting a calm exterior while hinting at emotions beneath the surface. The light-colored top she wears adds to her understated elegance, contrasting gently with the softly blurred background, which isolates her from the world and draws focus entirely on her. This visual introduction is more than aesthetic. It is a metaphorical window into her life, a glimpse into a personality that balances fragility with quiet strength. From the outset, readers sense a duality in her character. On one level, she appears composed, serene, and approachable. Her neutral expression does not immediately reveal whether she is happy, sad, or burdened, allowing the audience to project curiosity onto her. Yet subtle details, like the faint blush on her cheeks, the natural way her hair falls, and the softness of her gaze, suggest that beneath the calm facade lies an inner life rich with thought and feeling. It becomes evident that she is reflective, someone who observes the world carefully before fully revealing herself. This sets the stage for a story that will explore not just external events, but internal evolution. The environment, though blurred, plays an important role in establishing her context. Its softness implies a sense of ambiguity in her life. She exists in a space that is not fully defined, mirroring her own uncertainty about her path forward. Readers are invited to imagine her surroundings, just as she navigates a world where much is unknown. In this way, the headshot functions as a narrative device, hinting at both physical presence and psychological depth. Early in Part 1, the story also introduces subtle cues about her daily life and personality. Perhaps she is seen adjusting her hair absent-mindedly, or her eyes momentarily drift to something outside the frame, signaling thoughtfulness or preoccupation. These small gestures suggest that she is on the cusp of change, poised between the comfort of the familiar and the unknown possibilities ahead. It is in these quiet moments that readers begin to connect with her, not through dramatic action, but through empathy and attention to detail. Part 1 closes with the sense that while her exterior may seem neutral and controlled, her life contains potential tensions, hidden desires, and questions awaiting resolution. This first chapter functions as both an introduction and a promise. The protagonist is ready to embark on a journey, and the audience is invited to follow. By focusing on her physical description, subtle expressions, and the mood evoked by her surroundings, this opening establishes a strong emotional connection, ensuring that readers are invested in her story before the first major event occurs. Shifts the story from quiet observation into the beginnings of action, introducing the catalyst that will disrupt the protagonist's routine and propel her toward change. Up to this point, her life has been defined by calm, predictable rhythms, reflective moments, and a sense of containment. She moves through her days with quiet thoughtfulness, her emotions largely internalized, giving the impression of stability. Yet beneath this exterior, there is an undercurrent of curiosity and unfulfilled longing, a subtle awareness that something is missing, though she has yet to name it. The unexpected message becomes the first spark that illuminates these dormant feelings. The story introduces the message in a way that emphasizes both surprise and intrigue. Perhaps it arrives as a handwritten letter slipped under her door, an email with an unfamiliar sender, or a phone notification that disrupts a quiet afternoon. Its arrival is abrupt, breaking the rhythm of her ordinary life. The contents of the message are tantalizing yet ambiguous, hinting at a mystery, a hidden opportunity, or a revelation about her past. The initial moment of reading it captures her in a state of frozen attention. Her striking blue eyes widen slightly. Her lips part in quiet astonishment, and the blush on her cheeks deepens, not from embarrassment, but from the sudden surge of curiosity and apprehension. This catalyst functions on multiple levels. Externally, it introduces the plot driver, the event that will push her into a new set of circumstances. Internally, it begins to stir latent emotions that have been quietly simmering beneath the surface. She experiences a complex mixture of excitement, fear, and hesitation. The neutral expression she is known for begins to shift, revealing fleeting glimpses of vulnerability. Readers see that her composed demeanor is not an absence of feeling, but a carefully maintained balance, one that is now being gently tested. Part 2 also deepens the sense of her character through her response to the message. Rather than reacting impulsively, she pauses to think, weighing the possibilities and imagining the outcomes. This moment illustrates her reflective nature and her capacity for careful decision-making. Her mind races with questions. Who sent this message? Why now? What will it mean for her life if she follows it? These questions are not just plot mechanics. They offer insight into her personality, showing her as intelligent, cautious, and emotionally aware. The tension in this part is deliberate. While the message promises change, it also introduces uncertainty and potential risk. The audience senses that her choice will have consequences, and this anticipation creates a subtle suspense. The narrative lingers on her internal struggle, emphasizing the human experience of confronting the unknown, the mixture of curiosity and anxiety, hope and doubt. By the end of Part 2, the protagonist stands at a threshold. The ordinary world marks the protagonist's first conscious step beyond the boundaries of her familiar world, transforming curiosity into action. After the unexpected message disrupted her routine, she has spent time weighing her options, wrestling with a mixture of excitement and fear. This part of the story emphasizes her willingness to embrace uncertainty, highlighting both her courage and vulnerability as she steps into unfamiliar territory. The journey begins in a subtle, realistic way. Perhaps she decides to visit a location mentioned in the message, meet a person she has never encountered, or investigate a hidden piece of her personal history. The act itself may seem simple: a train ride, a walk through a bustling street, or opening a door to a new environment. But for her, it carries immense symbolic weight. Each step away from her comfort zone represents a decision to confront the unknown, to allow life to push her beyond predictability. The narrative lingers on her internal state, the nervous flutter in her chest, the rapid calculation of possibilities, and the thrill of encountering something completely new. As she moves through this unfamiliar world, she begins to meet people who challenge and expand her perspective. Allies, mentors, or even strangers offer guidance, insights, or obstacles that illuminate aspects of her character previously unexplored. She is forced to engage with experiences that test her assumptions and patience. For instance, a mentor figure might offer advice that contradicts her instincts, compelling her to reconsider what she believes about herself. Or a minor setback, such as missing a crucial connection or facing a miscommunication, might reveal her resilience and ability to adapt. These interactions serve a dual purpose. They advance the plot while deepening the reader's understanding of her evolving character. A key element of Part 3 is the protagonist's growing self-awareness. As she navigates challenges, she begins to recognize her strengths and weaknesses, as well as the emotions she has long suppressed. Moments of quiet reflection allow the audience to witness her internal dialogue, her doubts, and her discoveries. The narrative may show her pausing to absorb her surroundings, noticing small details that hint at larger truths about the path she is on. These observations reinforce her reflective nature and establish her as someone who learns and grows through experience rather than simply reacting to events. Conflict in this section is both external and internal. Externally, she faces obstacles or surprises that test her resourcefulness and resolve. Internally, she confronts fear, uncertainty, and occasional self-doubt. The tension lies in balancing these challenges while continuing forward. She is not yet at the climax, but the stakes are real, and the audience can feel her apprehension and determination simultaneously.